My name is Brenda, and I am 58 years old. For the past 29 years, my entire world, my reason for breathing was my daughter, Chloe. Seeing her grow into a vibrant woman, fall in love, and get engaged filled me with a pride so profound it ached. As a single mother who worked tirelessly, I was overjoyed to fund her dream wedding. It felt like the ultimate act of love, the final glittering gift I could give her. But beneath that happiness, a quiet tension had been growing, a distance I could not name, a feeling that the foundation we built was shifting sand. Before I share the story of the day it all shattered, I am curious to know where you are listening from. If you have ever felt a relationship with a loved one was balanced on a fragile thread, let me know by pressing that like button and subscribing. Let us listen to this story together because sometimes the most expensive lessons come from the people we love the most. It all started with the very best of intentions. I became a single mother when Chloe was just 3 years old. Her father, well, he chose a different path, one that did not include diaper changes or bedtime stories. The guilt was my constant shadow. I felt I had to be everything for her to compensate for that absence. So I worked. I climbed from a junior bookkeeper to a senior accounting manager, a job that paid the bills but drained my spirit with its endless numbers and corporate politics. Every overtime hour, every missed school play, I justified it. It was for her. For the best private schools, the prettiest dresses, the summer camps all her friends went to. My love language became my credit card. I wanted her to never feel less than. I wanted her to have the security I never had. By the time she was 29, beautiful and working as a freelance graphic designer, our dynamic was set in stone. I was the foundation. I paid for half of her sleek downtown apartment. The emergency credit card I gave her for just in case was used for everything from groceries to new boots. I would see the statements, my stomach tightening at the totals, but I would just transfer the money. She was my daughter. This was what I was supposed to do. When Landon came into the picture, I was cautiously optimistic. He was handsome, charmed me easily at first, worked in real estate. He talked a big game about investments and potential. Chloe was smitten. The engagement was a whirlwind. When she showed me the ring, her eyes shining, and said, "Mom, we want a big, beautiful wedding, a real celebration," my heart soared. "Anything you want, honey," I heard myself say. "I will take care of it all." And I did, with a fervor that now feels like a fever. We toured venues. Chloe immediately fell in love with the Willow Creek Manor, an exclusive estate with rolling hills and a price tag that made my accountant's brain short-circuit. But she clasped her hands together, her face pure joy. "This is it, Mom. This is the one." I signed the contract. The dress was next. Not off the rack, but a custom design. The fabric alone cost more than my first car. I wrote the check, smiling through a tiny growing knot of anxiety. Landon would nod along, always agreeing with Chloe's most extravagant choices, adding his own touches. "An open bar with top-shelf liquor, Brenda. It makes a statement," he'd say, clapping me on the shoulder. The first real crack appeared during the cake tasting. We were at an elegant bakery sampling tiny, perfect slices of heaven. The proprietor, a gentle woman named Elena, presented the quote. My eyes widened. It was astronomical. Without thinking, the words slipped out. "Oh my, that is quite a commitment." The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Chloe's smile vanished. "Mom," she said, her voice sharp, "if you don't want to pay for it, just say so. We will figure something else out." Her tone was ice. Landon looked from her to me, his expression unreadable. I felt humiliated, reduced to a stingy obstacle in front of this kind stranger. I backtracked immediately. "No, no, honey, of course not. It is beautiful. We will take it." I apologized to Elena, to Chloe. The rest of the tasting was silent and strained. That night, I could not sleep. I stared at the ceiling, the numbers from the venue, the dress, the cake swirling in the dark. My friend Diane, my rock for 30 years, had warned me over lunch just the week before. "Brenda, you are letting that girl cut you open. She does not appreciate it. She expects it." I had defended Chloe then. "She is just stressed with the planning. She appreciates it, she does." But Diane had just given me a sad, knowing look. Now, in the quiet of my bedroom, her words echoed, mixing with Chloe's cold tone at the bakery. A week of silence passed after the cake incident. Chloe did not call. The ball, it seemed, was always in my court, so I texted her. "The cake is booked, sweetie, all paid for. Can we have lunch this week?" Her reply was hours later, a simple K. No thank you, no acknowledgement of my apology. The knot in my stomach tightened from a pebble to a stone. The stone became a boulder the following Thursday. Chloe called. My heart lifted for a second when I saw her name on the caller ID, a foolish hope that she was calling to talk to connect. Hi, honey, I answered, trying to sound light. Her voice was all business, devoid of any warmth. Mom, listen. Landon and I have been looking at properties. There is a duplex near the college. It is a fantastic investment opportunity. We can live in one unit, rent the other. The down payment is $85,000. We need to move fast. $85,000. That was the exact amount in my safety net account, the account labeled rainy day/medical in my meticulous spreadsheet. The money I had painstakingly saved over the last 5 years, my cushion for when my body, tired from decades of work, might finally falter. I was speechless for a moment. Chloe, that is my emergency fund. I know what it is, she said, impatient. But this is an emergency, an opportunity emergency. This duplex will set us up for the future. You are always talking about securing my future. This is for my future, Chloe, for if I get sick, for anything unexpected. My voice was trembling. Unexpected like what? She snapped. You are healthy. You have a good job. This is more important. You can always save it again. The casual dismissal of my security of my fears took my breath away. Honey, I need to think about this. It is a huge decision. The dam broke on her end. Think about it. What is there to think about? You have the money. You are just being selfish. You always do this. You dangle your support like a carrot and then yank it away when it actually matters to me. Dad left and now you are pulling away too. Is this your thing? You are just a bank that only opens when you feel like it. Each word was a scalpel. I felt the tears hot on my cheeks. Chloe, that is not true. Everything I have ever done has been for you because I love you. Love does not come with strings, Mom. Real love is support, not control, she shouted into the phone. We went in circles, her anger feeding on my pain. The conversation ended with her hanging up on me. I sat at my kitchen table, the silent phone in my hand, feeling the walls of my carefully constructed world crack audibly. The foundation was not just sand, it was quicksand, and I was sinking. The silence that followed was heavier than any noise. 2 days passed. I did not call. She did not call. The air in my house felt thick and stale. I knew it could not last. I was the fixer. I was the one who smoothed things over. So, against the screaming instinct in my gut that told me to stand my ground, I texted her, "Can we talk in person, please?" She agreed to meet at her apartment that Saturday afternoon. I dressed carefully as if for a job interview, my hands cold and clammy. When she opened the door, her face was a closed mask. Landon stood behind her in the living room, arms crossed. The atmosphere was hostile. "Come in," she said flatly. I stepped into the beautiful space I helped pay for. We sat awkwardly. "But Chloe," I began, my voice pleading, "I want to understand. This wedding, it is becoming something I do not recognize. And this money for the duplex, I am scared." Landon spoke first. Brenda, with all due respect, this is about Chloe and me building our lives. The wedding is a celebration of that. The duplex is an investment in that. Your support should be a given, not a negotiation. I looked at my daughter. Is that how you feel, that my support is just a given, that I am just an ATM? Chloe's eyes hardened. You want to list, Mom, fine. You were never home when I was a kid because you were always working. You sent me to St. Mary's because you thought it was best, not because I liked it. You bought me things to make up for you not being there. And now when I am finally building something for myself, something real with Landon, you are holding back the one thing you have always used to keep me close, your money. You are not supporting me. You are trying to buy my life. Her words were a calculated demolition. Landon nodded, a slight approving smirk on his lips. I felt eviscerated. All my sacrifices, all my sleepless nights, all the love I poured into her reduced to a series of transactions and failures. I did the best I could. I whispered, the fight draining out of me. I loved you. I love you. Chloe stood up. Her expression was one of pure, unadulterated contempt. You don't do it for me. You do it to make yourself feel better about being a lonely workaholic. I'm so tired of this. I am tired of you. She pointed a sharp finger toward her front door. Just get out of my life. Right now. Time stopped. Landon's smirk widened. I looked into my daughter's eyes, the eyes I had gazed into the moment she was born, and I saw no love, no warmth, no child. I saw a stranger who saw me as an obstacle. I did not say another word. I picked up my purse, turned, and walked out. I heard the door shut firmly behind me. The click of the lock was the sound of my heart breaking clean in two. I drove home on autopilot. The world outside the car window was a blur of meaningless color. I walked into my house, the emptiness of it echoing the new void inside my chest. I did not cry. I felt beyond tears. I sat in my dark living room and let the cold, hard truth wash over me. Diane had been right. I had not been a mother. I had been a sponsor. And my beneficiary had just fired me. A strange, terrifying clarity descended with the dawn. The pain was still there, a raw, gaping wound, but a new sensation emerged alongside it, a solid, unyielding resolve. If I was out of her life, then I was out completely. That included my money, my stress, my endless worrying. She wanted freedom from me, she would have it, and I would have freedom from the tyranny of my own guilt. I made a pot of strong coffee and sat at my desk with a notepad. I started a list, my handwriting steady and clear. 1. Amex Platinum Card Primary, Brenda user, Chloe, cancel. 2. Joint checking account, Brenda and Chloe, close. 3. Willow Creek Manor contract, cancel. 4. Elena's custom cakes, cancel. 5. Belle robe, bridal dress, cancel. 6. Prestige floral design, cancel. 7. Loan application co-signature, Landon and Chloe, duplex, withdraw support. I worked methodically, listing every vendor, every account, every financial tether. Then I got dressed. I put on a sharp blazer, the armor I wore for difficult client meetings. My first stop was the bank. I met with my banker, a kind man named Robert who had helped me for years. Robert, I need to close the joint checking account number ending in 4481. All funds are to be transferred solely to my individual account. I also need to cancel a credit card. I slid the Amex across the desk. He looked concerned. Is everything all right, Brenda? No, Robert, I said, my voice even, but it will be. Please process this. He did. With a few keystrokes, the financial umbilical cord was severed. Next, I called the loan officer at the credit union. This is Brenda Shaw. I am listed as a co-signer on an application for Landon Miller and Chloe Shaw. I am formally withdrawing my support and will not be co-signing any loan. Please remove my name and information from that application immediately. Then I started on the vendors. I used my professional, polite, and immovable voice. Hello, this is Brenda Shaw. I am the contract holder and payer for the Miller-Shaw wedding on October 18th. I need to cancel all services effective immediately. I understand the deposit is non-refundable. That is fine. Please email me the cancellation confirmation. I said it to the venue coordinator, to the florist, to the photographer. My hand shook only when I called Elena the cake baker. Her voice was so kind. Oh, Brenda, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is everything okay? Her compassion almost broke my composure. A change in family circumstances, I managed to say. Thank you for your understanding. The final call was to Belle Robe Bridal, the dress, the custom dress my daughter had glowed in. Cancel the order, I said. I did not give a reason. By 4 p.m. it was done. I was out $22,000 in non-refundable deposits. It felt like the price of my freedom. I came home, poured a single glass of wine, and sat in silence. The grief was a physical weight, but beneath it, for the first time in decades, I felt a flicker of something else. It was not happiness, it was peace. The peace that comes from a decision made, a boundary drawn, even if it is drawn in your own blood. The storm hit my phone around 5:30 p.m. It started with a text from the wedding planner. Chloe is on the phone with me, absolutely hysterical. Brenda, what is going on? I did not reply. Then the calls began. Chloe, over and over, then Landon, then a number I did not recognize, probably the venue. I let them all go to voicemail. I listened to the first one from Chloe. It was pure, unfiltered rage. What the hell did you do? How dare you call me back right now? You are insane. You have ruined everything. The venom in her voice solidified my resolve. This was not my little girl. This was the monster I had helped create. The next morning, the call started again at 7 a.m. Relentless. I finally picked up on the 5th call. I did not speak. Mom, are you there? What did you do? The venue called me. The dress shop called me. My card is declined. What is happening? Chloe was sobbing, but it was the sobbing of a thwarted child, not of a grieving daughter. I took a deep, quiet breath. You told me to get out of your life, Chloe. I am respecting your wishes. My involvement in your life, including my financial involvement, is over. You cannot do this. The wedding is in 3 months. You paid for it, you promised. A promise requires 2 people to keep it. I said, my voice frighteningly calm. You broke our bond. The terms are null and void. Landon grabbed the phone. Brenda, you listen to me. This is financial abuse. We will sue you. You cannot just cancel a wedding that is not yours. It is mine, I said softly. I was the one signing the checks. It is canceled. And as for suing me, Landon, I welcome you to try. My lawyer will be interested in the investment proposal for that duplex you wanted me to fund. Goodbye. I hung up, and then, for my own sanity, I blocked both of their numbers. The silence that followed was loud, but it was mine. I spent the day with Diane. I did not talk much. We walked by the river. She held my hand. You did the hardest thing a mother can do, she said. You loved her enough to let her hate you. In the weeks that followed, the initial numbness wore off and the real pain set in. It was a deep, hollow ache, the feeling of a phantom limb. My purpose was gone. The house was too quiet. I realized with a shock that I had no hobbies. My entire identity was Chloe's mom and senior accounting manager. One of those was gone. The other was just a job. I started therapy. My therapist, a warm woman named Gloria, helped me untangle the knot of guilt and codependency. You were not a bank, Brenda, she said. You were a mother trying to fill a hole left by an absent father with dollar bills. It was never going to work. I needed to learn who Brenda was. On a whim, I signed up for a pottery class at the community center. It was messy and frustrating. My first attempts were lopsided, collapsed. But I kept going. My hands used to typing on keyboards and writing checks learned the feel of wet clay. One evening, I was working on a simple vase. It was uneven. As I tried to smooth one side, a hairline crack appeared up its surface. I almost threw it away in frustration, but then I stopped. I looked at it. It was flawed. It had a crack. But it was still whole. It had character. I decided to fire it anyway. When I pulled it from the kiln, the crack was still there, a dark seam in the warm, earthy glaze. But it was solid, strong. It held water. I brought it home and put it on my mantle. Healing is not a straight line. Some days the grief would ambush me in the grocery store seeing a young mother with a toddler. Other days I felt a lightness I had not known since childhood. I focused on my pottery. I read novels. I had long dinners with Diane and reconnected with other friends I had neglected. I even went on a few hesitant dates, something I had not done in 20 years. I heard through the grapevine from a friend of a friend that the wedding was of course called off. The duplex deal fell through without my money. Landon, it turned out, had several bad investments and left Chloe shortly after his interest waning when the funding dried up. I felt no schadenfreude, only a profound sadness for the pain my daughter must have been feeling, the consequences of her choices crashing down without my safety net to catch her. I did not reach out. My therapist said boundaries are not walls, they are gates you control. The gate was closed, not out of hatred but for my survival and, ironically, for hers. She needed to learn to stand without my crutches. About 8 months after that terrible day, I received an email. The subject line was simply Mom. My heart hammered against my ribs as I opened it. It was not long. It did not ask for anything. It read, Mom, I do not even know if you will read this. I have been in therapy too. I have had a lot of time to think. I was cruel. I was entitled. I said things to you that no child should ever say to a parent. I see now what I did. I see how I used you. I am so sorry. I do not expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know that I am sorry and that I am finally starting to understand what you were trying to give me all along. It was not the money. It was you, and I threw you away. I am so sorry, Chloe. I cried then, for hours, for the lost years, for the pain on both sides, for the little girl she was and the woman she might become. I did not reply immediately. I needed to sit with it, to see if the old urge to rush in and fix her pain would surface. It did not. Instead, I felt a quiet compassion separate from my own need to be needed. A week later, I wrote back 3 sentences. Chloe, I read your email. Thank you for your words. I'm working on forgiving us both, Brenda. It was not a reunion. It was an acknowledgement. A first fragile thread across a vast canyon. Where it leads, I do not know. And for the first time, I am okay with not knowing. The vase with the crack still sits on my mantle. Every morning I see it. It reminds me that broken things can be made whole again, but they are never the same. The crack becomes part of their story, a testament to the heat they endured and survived. I am learning to see the beauty in my own cracks. To all of you listening to my story, I wonder, have you ever had to set a boundary that broke your heart to save your soul? What was that journey like for you? If this story resonated with you, if it made you think or feel something, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your stories matter too. If you found strength in this, please give this video a like. It lets me know these difficult conversations are important. And if you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to join this community. We are all just walking each other home, sharing our maps of the broken roads we have traveled. Thank you for listening with such an open heart. Be gentle with yourselves and remember it is never too late to build a life that is truly authentically your own.